than you
Dude,
think.
it's so economic.
Sorry.
You want to lean harder on the Bible or?
I think that's what you want from me, Josh, is to lean harder on the Bible. Welcome
Got
to
him.
another episode of Call Him Father.
That high five could be the clap for the syncing.
Oh, nice. Yeah, look at that. Working in mysterious ways.
Lingo.
How is everyone doing today? We're here. We are practicing the podcast.
Practicing.
And
Practicing the podcast.
how are you feeling today?
Oh, I'm feeling okay. I think just go. I guess we'll go into the rating. I'm not even gonna talk about the religious rating. Yeah, I know. No, stop. It's from my
Sorry.
it's from my sock.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, if it was from my pants, that would be terrible because these are expensive.
That'd be like a $6 string.
Yeah, yeah, dude.
Viore, sponsor it up,
Pretty
baby.
nice. Give it to us.
You guys haven't accessed the Christian crowd. It's a big crowd, and it's growing.
That's true. It is growing.
It is growing.
We're in a revival.
Yeah.
Also, I have a great idea for you, Viore, for a commercial. So
You're going to share
not going to
the
get
idea?
it.
Unless it's, yeah.
Let's see.
Don't give it away for free.
No, of course not.
So you're not going to do religious anymore. You're just going to be at a steady 8 for the rest of your life.
Probably. I mean, if it changes, I'll let you know. But it just feels weird to just say 8 every week.
I understand.
Spiritually, I think probably like a 6. This week has been every week. It's been every aspect. Monday was like I was bored. I didn't feel anything, and I was like, I guess this is good because I'm not upset. Right, which is positive. But I was like bored by that, which just shows how like unhealthy I am, that I'm like, I need some sort of emotional extremism in order to feel like I'm alive. Like being content is like so not okay with me, which is bad.
Yeah.
So, and then Tuesday was bad, and then Wednesday was good, and then now we're kind of back into this just like impatient phase, like I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
And so it's just, but leaning on the Lord and trusting on Him in all of this time-wise is like difficult. So that's the hard part, is just trusting that something is happening when it feels like nothing is happening.
Yeah. And so when you're like praying in those situations, are you feeling changes in your emotions a little bit? Are you getting Morse code back?
Yeah.
Are you getting like, shut up?
No shut ups, thankfully. No shut ups. I'm getting a lot of I don't know. I mean, the overwhelming thing I'm getting is just trust me. It's like wait and just trust me. I don't need to know. And I think ultimately that is what's good for me, is because if I can learn to trust the Lord in this situation, in this time period, like that is so helpful, because this is the waiting period right now. And however this pulls out of it, when I'm through this period, however it goes, I'm going to have that trust proven. I believe that. And so that's what then gives me so much confidence going forward into the rest of my life for whatever else happens to me. Like I'm thinking about this. This is bad, but like my anxiety is like, once this period of my life is over and I've gotten through this situation and it ends good, because I know it will. When it ends well, however it is, I'm like, am I going to have like a kid die or something? Like I'm like,
Sure.
like, what terrible thing is the Lord preparing me for?
So once I get through this period that you're in, once that happens, I will be good, and then something bad will happen again, and I'll have to get through that period.
Well, it's about learning.
Like your life is defined by these bad things, and then getting over these bad things.
It's not getting over them. I think it's
growing
just
from them.
Life has a lot of good and bad, and learning to trust the Lord in it all.
I hate that about life.
Yeah, exactly.
Why can't it just be good?
Come here for your insights. crazy good insight. Listen, there's good, Grant. There's good, and there's bad.
But what?
I know.
Why can't there just be good?
That's a good point. I mean, listen, there's a reason why, and I forgot we're on a religious podcast, so I can say it.
What's the reason?
Because we sinned. We fell short of the glory of God. And
but
we fell apart from Him. Because God is
that?
good. Because we, out of fear, we
really?
Out of pride. I mean, like, there's out of doubt. If you look at Eve's original sin, Eve and Adam's original sin, it was about doubting that the Lord loved them.
Nice an addition of equality.
Yeah, exactly. Eve and Adam. Dude, I've heard this. Some people say the first sin, this is like super conservative Christian land this is coming from. Some people say the first sin wasn't Eve eating the apple or fruit. It was Adam not watching over his wife, letting her wander around into the garden, letting her be wild. He's like, Adam's first sin wasn't being a good husband. And it's like, okay, I don't know if that's totally true. I mean, I think, granted, did he sin? Yeah, they both sinned. And I think it was because they doubted what the Lord said. Like Satan, the snake, misquoted God to them. Says, did God really say this?
Yeah,
and then
but let's be honest, even in this podcast, how many times have we misquoted God?
100%, but we're not we're fallen humans. We have a good excuse.
Right.
Not a good excuse, but good, makes sense.
Yeah.
So because we sinned and now we're in sin and now there's bad stuff. And I know that I trust in the Lord to pull me out of this bad stuff, these bad feelings, however it goes. And I think trusting in him in this period, just because I'm not out of it, doesn't mean he won't. And then in future times, if/when bad things happen, I know he'll pull me out of it. So it is like, and again, that hope, like we've talked about, that hope is so powerful to like allow you to really process things instead of like, rushing through it and repressing it and ignoring it.
Yeah.
When you have hope that you'll get through this, you can really dive into it and figure it out instead of being scared of it. Mm-hmm. But also that means you're really diving into it and it really hurts deeply. And that's hard.
Sure.
But I do have trust that the Lord will pull me through it, which is good. So that's why it's like this weird, that's why I say 6, because it's like, it's difficult. I feel spiritual. I feel the Lord's presence with me. There doesn't seem to be like a lot of specific, like, well, on Tuesday, make sure to take out the trash, whatever.
Right. There's no specific steps of what you do in your daily life.
Not necessarily. And maybe it's because I'm not asking, right? Maybe that's why. But it is like, I do trust that the Lord is going to pull me through this. And that's kind of what he's just saying, wait. And don't get involved.
If it was just like take out the trash, though, don't you think you'd be a little disappointed that that's what your life was missing out on? If the real answer to all your problems was like, dude, you got to start taking out the trash more.
I have like 8 trash bags built up.
I got to admit, God, tell this man.
It's clean. It's good today. It's good today.
I'm just kidding.
I change because I eat my breakfast sandwiches here, and then I like to toss the foil into the trash can. And every week on Saturdays, it's full in the morning. And so it'll get in the trash can, but then it'll bounce out and it'll make me feel like I missed.
Right.
And so then I started changing the trash on Friday so that it's empty on Saturday.
Wow.
So that I can really make it.
What a problem solved. Do you get what I'm saying, though? It's like, I think everybody wants that their issues are so special and so individual, and they require these big, dramatic changes.
Sure.
Nobody wants the thing to be like, eat healthy, go to the gym, and try and stay connected to people.
Yeah, 100%.
It's like, you need to stare at the Huberman lab.
Well, dude. Well, I mean, this is literally, this is later in the Old Testament, but there's a king, I forget who. There's a king who's afflicted with leprosy. I think it's leprosy. And a prophet comes to him and says, hey, in order for you to be cleansed of this leprosy, go wash in the Damascus River. Was it Damascus? I think it was Damascus. Go wash in the Damascus River. And the king was like pissed. He's like, what? I don't want to do that.
Sacrifice
that river's dirty. Yeah. That's a disgusting river. And then the prophet was like, if I told you to kill 1,000 Philistines, you'd do that in a second.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you to just go wash in the Damascus, and because it's dirty, you don't want to do it. And he was like, okay, good point. So there's this idea of like this boring thing. We're like, oh, what? What is that? But it's like, that is how the Lord works a lot of the time. It's just by doing normal stuff, And it's hard to trust because you're like, how is doing this normal thing going to change this big thing? Surely this big thing requires big actions.
Right.
Taken by me. I need to be the one to do it. And it's like, no, you don't need to be the one to do it. Trust that the Lord will do it for you. Because when have I ever fixed my own problems? Never. I've never fixed my own problems. And I'm like, but for some reason, I'm like, the biggest problem in my life, I'll fix that one. And it's like, no, you won't. And so I was like, okay, just learning to rest in it and trust the Lord and be patient, and not get involved. That's my biggest thing is I need inaction. I need to not do stuff because I only goof stuff up when I try to do stuff. Just make mistakes left and right. It's terrible.
I don't know. I can't really relate to that, but I don't really have any problems.
That's what's great about Grant. He never makes any mistakes.
Yeah, it's really helpful.
Yeah.
It's funny because like the first 5 episodes of this are you being like, don't forget to record.
Oh, yeah.
So, there's like so much recent evidence.
For sure, 100%. But that's not that's not a mistake, whatever.
Okay, cool. So ups and downs spiritually, but keep
overall
chugging along and
spiritually alive. That's
underlining faith that whatever happens will be for the better.
Yes, 100%.
Nice.
Yeah. I also need to stop saying 100%. I say it all the time.
You do?
Yeah.
Should we do a counter?
You're editing this week? Sure.
Okay. Yeah, dude. I did a mic recently, and I didn't even focus on jokes. The only thing was like, you guys need to boo me if I say because I'm just trying to stop saying It did not help at all whatsoever. Because then I was just getting like reinforcement for the ums because it became a game. Became like a game, but it's also at a mic. It's like they don't even want to pay attention to like track your ums. But okay, cool. I have probably a 3 or 4 on the religious scale.
All right, nice.
Just not very high. I just like, again, it's always, I'm similar in that it's pretty consistent, and like I just don't know if this is the specific thing.
Sure.
And I can always be like, I watched that Baha'i guy, whatever.
You watched it?
I watched a little bit
Penn
of it.
Badgley on Alex O'Connor. It was really interesting.
It was interesting. I like that idea more of like there's different evolutions of religion.
Sure.
I'm sure you think that's total bullshit, but
well, I mean, it's funny, not really, because Judaism being stage 1 and then Christianity being stage 2. So
sure,
this
but
evolution,
you think it ends with stage 2.
And I think we're in stage 2 now.
They think that
Baha'i?
They're like Muslim stage 3, and then now it's a different guy who's like, hey, this is all right for the time period, but it keeps evolving. We keep understanding the Lord better, and then there's iterations of divinity that come down through humans, like Moses, like Jesus, like Muhammad, and then like the guy Baha'i Muhammad or whatever his name was.
I forget his name. It was a cool name.
Very cool name. And then that would just keep happening for 500,000 years.
Yeah,
is I mean the basics of what I got. It's also like, it's not like that episode on YouTube is not like it's a guy who knows his stuff for sure, but it's not like a practicing. I don't know if they have ministers, but it is a dude from Gossip Girl telling you about a religion. Sure,
but also he's pretty into it. He's pretty into Baha'i. He's Baha'i.
He knows his stuff.
Yeah,
like, it was a good presentation. It's just like he's not like a spiritual leader.
Sure, yeah, he's not like a Baha'i pastor. You know Jack Freeman? Yeah, comic in New York. His parents were Baha'i missionaries.
Whoa.
Yeah, very interesting. He's not Baha'i anymore, but
wow, that's very interesting. Well, we should talk to him about that.
Yeah, I know. It is. I have talked to him a little bit about it. His whole his problem with it was the same problem with everyone with religion. It was just suffering. So how do we?
Oh, how does this suffering?
Yeah, and I think he thought their theodicy was not great.
Okay.
So that which I don't understand what theirs is, but at the very least it was interesting, and him talking about what I found most interesting was his transition from atheism to theism, just at all. Yeah, and his just acknowledgement of like, atheism doesn't make
any sense, or it doesn't satisfy the big answer. But it's also like his thing was like, his answer is like, well, God is unknowable. Like, you'll never have the answer. But there is a God. It's just like what exactly he wants and it looks like is unknowable.
Right. And he does think it's changing to a degree.
Sure. And it's evolving.
In a sense, which it's like, obviously, I have a lot of problems with that because it's like, okay, so is morality ever changing? Because Judaism, Christianity, and Islam all have drastically different moralities.
Really? Drastically different?
In practice, yeah. Mm-hmm. Like this whole love your neighbor as you love yourself thing, which like we attribute to Christianity, also in Judaism, right? Yeah. Question is, who's your neighbor, right? Christianity, Jesus says everyone's your neighbor. Mm-hmm. Judaism is like, no, that is not true at all. Yeah. Your neighbor is your Jewish neighbor.
Your Jewish neighbor.
Yeah, the Samaritan, the Gentile, not your neighbor.
That's interesting because in Exodus, when they're talking about the plagues, this is not in what we're going to talk about today, I don't think.
No,
but when the plague is coming around and you're like marked by blood and that's what protects you. Yeah. If you don't have the blood on you and you're Jewish, you still get killed.
Sure.
But if you're not Jewish, but you're eating at a Jewish friend's house and they put the lamb's blood on you or mark you, whatever, you don't get killed.
Yes.
So that's just like, hey, you got to know the right people and you got to practice it.
Well, I would say that in that instance, that's because God.
Who?
God.
Oh, okay.
G-O-D, God.
Yeah. The great outdoors.
The great Mother Gaia. I I think that God says, love your neighbor. Jesus says, love your neighbor. Your neighbor is everybody. And in practice there, he shows that. Whoever is, they don't have to be Jewish, but if you're under the blood of the Lamb, you're saved.
So this is you going, Old Testament still has stuff that is consistent with New Testament.
Oh, 100%. Okay. Ding. But I think I just kidding, it's gonna be so bad. But
it is a very good confirmation. Like it's a good way to confirm things.
Yeah, it is true. Yeah,
nothing's 100%. So it really makes
except
you think,
everything that
it really makes you go, oh, I am. It's 100% right.
Yeah, I like to. It's a really good way to build trust with people before you destroy them on something later. Sure. Before you really lay into and disagree on them later.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I disagree with people so much on the things we agree on. I really have to lock hard on those things to be like, we agree, right? Yeah, and then I can disagree hard later. But the way Jews practiced that in Jesus' time was your neighbor is just Jews, right?
Oh, okay.
And then Islam is pretty anti-infidel, right? So become a Muslim, or
anybody who's not Muslim or trying to be a Muslim is
right?
The infidel.
There is this sort of separation between like Jew and Greek, as the Bible, as Scripture would put it, and like even in Islam, it's like you are Muslim or you are not. You are the infidel, and so it's like okay, that is, and in Christianity, there is no Jew or Greek, there is no slave or free. Like we are all united within Christ. Like we are all the same people, and it's just do we accept that identity or not? But you love your neighbor no matter who they are, whether they're Christian or not or whatever. You love your neighbor,
right? Sure, but.
Just the point being,
that's just like like an example with like the Inquisition. They're just ignoring that part.
Yeah. Those are bad people.
Those are they're ignoring it.
Yes,
it's not like they're interpreting it in a different way. They're just flat out ignoring it.
Well, I'm sure they're saying they're interpreting it in some way. They're like, no, we have to do this because these people are killing Christians, and actually this will be better. Like the human mind is so twisted and broken. Like it could take the most pure sentiment that there is and twist it for evil. Because humans are, because humans are broken. We break things. And I think that we take good things and break them. And I think that a lot of people look at the Spanish Inquisition or the Crusades or something like, well, that's what Christianity is. And it's like, where did Jesus say that? Because people look at Christians and say, that's what Christianity is.
I pull up the exact page where I'm like, you have to kill all these people.
Hold on one second.
Fuck, I missed that one.
Whoa. Well... Big difference here. I'm like, I'm not leaving. I'm just gonna start killing people. But I think like
you'd have to commit.
Oh, you gotta. You gotta commit. But I think that's the problem. Is like people tie Christianity to Christians, and we do a really bad job of getting out of the way and saying, no, Jesus. What did Jesus say? And instead, people look at our lives, which is why we need to live lives according to Jesus's words, so that people can ultimately look to Jesus rather than Christians. Because I think I don't save people, Christians don't save people, Christ saves people.
Right.
And we do a really good job of getting in the way. Like you could be praying to Jesus, and I'd be like, "Excuse me, can I tell you about Jesus?" And it's like, "Well, he's already praying it. Like he's trying,
my girlfriend had that happen to her.
Really?
Well, she wasn't like praying it, but she was walking out of like a Trader Joe's.
Sure.
Because she's doing pretty well for herself. And congrats. And a woman was like, "Hey, would you come pray with us?" She's like, "No, I have to go, but I'm this religion. I'm this sect of Christianity,
right?
And I practice, so I'm with you."
Yeah.
And
nice
they're
message.
like, "Yeah, but you should do it right now." And then they started trying to guilt her into coming and doing this thing.
So bad.
And she was like, "Hey, don't you think this is the opposite?"
Did she say that?
No, she wanted to.
Damn.
Yeah. It was more of like a have a nice day.
Yeah.
So
damn.
that happened.
That sucks, dude.
Yeah.
That sucks so bad. It's like I don't think that's what. Yeah, I just don't see how.
It doesn't help.
No, it doesn't help.
But yeah, anyway, it's like it's just the specifics. It's like it's also like we're reading. I've said this before, but we're reading the Septuagint, but it's like it's still this is all like the Jewish part of the story, and so I don't know anything about Christ really.
Yeah, I mean, hey, listen, I don't think it would hurt you to do a little Christ digging on the side. I think that would really help.
I'm a busy guy.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
So I don't really have time.
Think back to earlier in the conversation when you're like, I can change plans on a whim. I got nothing going on.
That's our friends, though. I never met this guy.
That's true. That's true.
But then in terms of spiritual, trying to, in the process of letting go and then seeing, this like constant negotiation of like, I believe in like a higher structure. It seems like I really do accept something can't come from nothing, and there's something going on, right? And I don't understand it, and I think we as humans can find a way into that thing. Whether this is the way in, I don't know.
Yeah.
But the one thing that really speaks to me is the trying to relinquish myself, my will, and
right.
Mostly because of the death grip that I've had on my life for so long, and how it has got, like you said, not gotten me nowhere, but it has not. It's rarely made things better. Or maybe it's rarely made me feel good, and not good in just like, oh, I'm happy, but like what I'm doing is right.
Sure.
And so it's hard to know how much you let go, what you let go of, and how much you trust in that whatever happens will be okay.
Right.
And so I'm trying to like start my day off with some type of sentiment or prayer of like, hey, whatever happens today is okay. It's basically like very, I don't know if this is what Baha'i or whoever would think about it, but like essentially it is what it is.
Powerful.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I don't know the future. Digging from the past is not going to help me. So just try and be, and don't fucking grip everything so tight.
I think it is what it is,
but it's hard.
It's kind of a, like, more secularly speaking, I think kind of a dumb sentiment, unless you think the thing making it what it is a loving source, right? If you think it is what it is, and the reason it is because I'm loved, then I can rest in this. And I can be like, oh, it's okay that it is what it is, right? If the whole, like, if you don't, and I'm talking about this, saying that phrase like from an atheistic perspective, it's like, well, yeah, that doesn't really help or change anything. Like, things still suck.
Yeah, but I guess it's like you can't change anything. It's like a step in like accepting that you can't change anything.
Well, you can't change anything, but that doesn't mean there's any hope, right? If anything, that means there's no hope. Unless you believe the source of what everything is a loving source.
Yeah, maybe it's not a hope thing. It's more of like a it allows you to maybe have a better view of where you do actually have control.
That's true.
So like
puts parameters up in a sense.
If I go, I can't, this is like more in the area of like cognitive behavioral therapy of like, I can't control how other people feel about me and my responses. And I have to kind of find my own limits and my own ethical principles. But I can't go, I can determine this, I can determine that. It allows you a little bit of space to give yourself more grace.
Yeah, that's true.
I know is not satisfactory to you because it's not about you giving yourself grace. It's about God giving yourself grace.
Well, I think it is helpful still to let go in that sense and to be like, okay, I shouldn't beat up on myself.
Yeah, because
I don't think that's helpful.
Yeah, what is it? What is all this beating up on myself done for me?
100%.
It made me hate myself more.
Yeah,
but but it's never made the problem get solved in a smarter way.
Sure. Going back to like this death grip analogy, like this is so dumb because it's just like that song, Jesus Take the Wheel. But it's like you're death gripping the wheel, but
Carrie Underwood would
you can't turn it. You're like squeezing. You're like, squeeze it hard, but you're not actually turning the wheel. You're just going in the same bad direction, but you're squeezing harder.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I do think like we don't have the strength to change things the way we want to. Mm-hmm. So I do think we need to like let go. And I mean, Jesus says, my yoke is easy and my burden is light. It's like, if you trust me, I love you. I'm not going to try and ruin your life here. But it's so hard to trust that. And that's my struggle right now. And it's like death gripping doesn't help because we can't change the course of action.
Yeah, but that's where it becomes difficult is because like you do have allegedly free will. God gave us free will.
Allegedly, so funny.
I mean, I just, it
sure.
really doesn't feel like it sometimes. But and then it really feels like it sometimes. And when it really feels like it, it's terrifying. Fuck up so bad.
It's so bad. You're like, I could do anything right now. Oh no.
God. Can someone do something else for me right now?
Please, someone tell me what to do.
Yeah.
Stop telling me what to do. Can someone tell me what to do? I don't know what to do.
It's constantly that.
Dude, that in those moments, I will say, when I turned to the Lord, like last night, I was thinking of doing something, and then I was like, I could do that. I could do that.
Yeah.
And then I was praying about it, and I just heard the Lord being like, you could do that. Do not do that.
Do not do that.
Do not do that. And I was like, I will not. And then I thought of another thing to do.
Where does his voice come from? Does he start in your forehead? Is it a butthole related thing?
I wish it was a butthole related thing. It'd be so distinct.
Yeah. That is really like that area. When something's happening in that area, you're like, I'm
paying attention.
This is happening in the left lower quadrant. I have like grid paper on my asshole. Yeah. I'm like -2x.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
-4y.
Yeah, like someone trying to describe their political affiliation. It's like up and to the right. This is happening in my socialist quadrant.
of my colon.
Yeah,
of my news.
Yeah, dude. Now for me, it's like, it's kind of like an immediate thought. It's instinctual for me.
Sure.
And just giving that space to be like, okay, that's not. And a lot of the times, yeah, I don't know. I mean, this is like the whole Jamie Winship thing is like, I'm still learning to hear the Lord's voice and to be like, okay, what is this? And to be like, I believe that that's true. Mm-hmm. And then allowing it to take place. Because I wasn't happy with either decision. Because I wanted to do one thing, I heard not to do it. I wanted to do another thing, I heard not to do it. And both, I was unhappy that I couldn't do either of those things.
Sure.
But I knew those were the right things to do.
Yeah.
So it is just kind of like, maybe it's your conscience a little bit, but also it is, which I think is from the Lord ultimately. But I do think it's like, there's this sense of like, I know that's the right thing to do. And it's just hard because it's not what I want to do, but I know it's the right thing to do. And again, this goes back to what I've been saying is like, I trust that the Lord isn't trying to hurt me with this. The Lord's trying to help me. Right. And I had the freedom to do those things that I wanted, but God gave me that. God's like, you could do it if you wanted to, but don't.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I won't. And I believe that because through that negation, I think my life is better because of that. It's hard to know that your life's better through negation, which is why I don't trust it. You know, I feel like I need to do stuff to make it better. You can't
see. It's harder to track the repercussions of not doing something.
100%. It's not if you don't smoke, your lungs aren't all of a sudden way healthier than they are now.
Yeah,
they're just the same.
You just don't feel bad when you run.
Exactly.
Oh, I want to smoke so bad.
Dude,
Thank you for reminding me.
Great. So like not drinking, I bring up everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard because you don't see the next step, but it is like a longevity thing.
But that's the thing is with not drinking, I drank for so long that not drinking, I see the effects of not drinking. They took a while.
Yeah.
But they didn't really even take that long. But not drinking, but I had to drink a lot.
Right.
To see. So really, I think you got to do a bunch of bad stuff to see what not doing bad stuff does.
I'll say, yeah. Well, this goes back to your friend.
You can't take your word for it.
Your friend who wants me to be a heathen for.
Yeah.
What he was saying, and I think he was probably joking.
We got a piece of constructive criticism for the pod.
Criticize him.
God damn it! It's just like I'm talking, and I'm human. Whatever happened to forgiving?
I had a friend. Shout out Luke Davis. Yesterday, we're hanging at the park, and we're seeing all these dogs at the park. And he goes,
God, I want to fuck him so bad.
And he goes,
that's what Luke Davis said.
Only day. Well, that was part. I wasn't going to bring that part up. But the what he says is he goes, the only way I would have a dog living in New York is if I lived near Grand Central. Grand. He meant Central Park.
Oh, Grand. I was about to say.
But he said Grand Central, the train station, and it was so funny to be like, I need to live near the train station to have a dog.
Dogs love the Belmore.
It was obviously just a dumb mistake, but it was like, it was so fun. It was so funny.
Yeah.
But just the stupid mistakes are fun. Anyways, we got a good piece of criticism from the podcast.
Yeah. It's unfair that I'm going to church and stuff and Josh is not trying out a hedonistic lifestyle.
Right. Exactly. Which is like, well, listen, it seems unfair.
You're far from perfect.
I'm far from perfect.
I'm so far.
I'm literally drinking coffee right now.
Oh, you're not allowed to drink coffee?
No, I'm joking.
But
that's why I said it in that voice.
But technically,
Mormons don't drink coffee.
Mormons don't drink coffee. I guess coffee is like coffee and tobacco is grandfathered into Islam, but like technically you're not supposed to like take any drugs.
Substances. I don't know. I don't see no caffeine in scripture.
So, but it has to be specifically no caffeine.
What?
Like there's nothing that's like, cause like, there's nothing so far that says getting drunk is bad.
Oh, but that pops up. It pops up.
Getting drunk and then potentially fucked is bad.
Well said.
Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, I think
there is a point that says no drunkenness.
Thank you. There is a point that says no drunkenness. Like that becomes
a very hard line rule.
Yes. Very clear in scripture that drunkenness is bad.
Sure, but like if you have 4 cups of coffee back to back to back.
Sure, maybe not wise.
You're lit.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's why I'm like hesitant towards weed and stuff like that. I've never smoked weed, but like I'm hesitant towards altered brain states.
Sure.
Right. And so it's like altered to what degree?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Coffee is an altered brain state.
Also, some people smoke weed and it doesn't like affect their brain at all. If I smoked weed, I would probably go to the moon. I've never smoked before.
Well, no, the first time you do it, you don't really get high.
Right. But the second or third time, or if I did it, I did an 800 milligram edible. It's crazy. I had no idea what was happening. Something like that. Right. I'm pretty anti, and maybe this is just like convenient for me because I'm a control freak. Sure. I don't like altered brain states.
Plus, you love rules.
I don't love rules. I'm just comfortable with them.
Yeah, you love rules.
What did we say about saying that?
Okay, well,
no,
I forgot about that rule.
No,
which you love.
I'm fine with rules. I just a lot of the rules, frankly, I just agree with.
Sure.
So I have no problem. Like tucking your shirt in school. I just did.
That doesn't bother you?
No.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, tuck your shirt in. I'm like, okay.
You don't need to rebel.
Everyone else is like, untuck your shirt. Be a cool kid. And I was like,
did you go to a private school?
A few different times, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I went to a few different schools that had you tuck your shirt in, and I was like, yeah, what's the problem with that?
Yeah. All right. Well, so yeah, I guess a 6 because I don't know how to properly let go and also exercise my free will.
But you're also working towards doing that, which is so spiritual.
I'm trying. Yeah.
Taking that effort is incredibly spiritual.
Yeah, but that seems to be a through line for all religions is kind of relinquishing your control to whatever the higher power is. Or if it's not a higher power, it's like, well, higher power is such a fully encompassing word, but like Buddha, sitting under the tree and just letting the world go on.
Sure.
Kind of extreme version of it. But
yes,
like,
I agree.
That was a part of his plan, But every religion is like God handles it.
Kind of. I think Judaism and Islam incorporate a lot more. It's weird because Christianity is kind of in the middle of it. So Judaism and Islam, from my understanding of them, is much more human action oriented. It's like you need to do this, do that, do the other. Way more law, way more earn, way more like you need to be this sort of person in order to be saved, right? So it is like very action oriented. Buddhism is the opposite. Like you said, it's sit and don't do. But then you've got this problem of like, well, there's still this suffering in the world. Just because I've turned my brain off to understanding that to be suffering doesn't change the reality of it, right? It just changes my experience of it. And maybe if everyone learned to not experience evil as evil, but to experience it as is, it would feel better, I guess. But I don't know. That to me, that feels like denial, right?
I think the thing is like a lot of evil comes from wants. And so if you neutralize your wants, ding, dude.
Or
if you neutralize your wants, then you can neutralize evil. I mean, this is having read no Buddhism.
Sure. Oh, so I know very little about Buddhism as well, but I will say that
I'm just saying that it's all of them seem to have realized the limited to no scope of your control and give it away, trust it into the whatever your higher power is name, that it cares about you and that it knows what's best.
Yeah, I would say that there's probably less of that than you might think there is. And I think that it is either you have to earn your love from your God by being a certain way, or you need to let go completely. Yeah. And I think Christianity has this unique co-authorship going on between human and God, where we work together to bring his kingdom into the world. And I think that is like I think Christianity is specifically unique in the fact that we can give it all to the Lord, and also we should do something. So it is a weird sort of like, you're not totally passive, but you're not completely reliant to be completely active either. So it's a
balance.
Yeah, it's a balance. And I think Christianity is the one that has the most balance, I think, in those things.
Okay. So we should probably do the reading.
Anyways, that was a good episode. We didn't
it was
read
like the
anything.
whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have finally started Exodus.
Let us know, by the way, if you hate that. If you're like, could you just get to the Bible already?
Yeah,
Let us
that would
know.
make it a lot easier.
Yeah, because we're not. I mean, I think this is just a good conversation.
Sure.
I also think what we were talking about before the pod was also a good conversation about the spiritual side of things there. So it's weird because we just keep talking about this stuff without scripture. So let us know if you don't like that or not.
Yeah, because if you don't like the whole
They're
thing,
probably not here.
that's not. Don't say that.
Yeah,
We're not going to stop doing it.
no.
We got to finish the book.
We only just got to the second book, Exodus. First chapter of Exodus.
Get out of here, Jews!
Oh, sorry.
That's what Exodus means
Yeah, get out of here, you Jews.
in Hebrew. Actually,
Jews.
I said it was. I read that it was something else. It's like to be brought up or to be brought out.
Yeah, to be brought out.
Is the the first line, I guess, in Hebrew. And then that's what the book is named in Hebrew, but because it's in the Septuagint, it's been renamed to Exodus. And now we are in Egypt. We have Joseph has died. His brothers have all died. Their children have died. It's like 300 years later. We've gone from 70 of them to like a lot of them.
Yeah, what
like
was it?
millions.
I think they get into later is like 600,000 or something, maybe, or more, maybe 3 million.
Well, 600,000 was the amount of men.
Oh,
So
right.
then the estimate that you'd get from that conservatively, from what I've read outside of this, is 2 million.
Okay, but only 600,000 who mattered.
Right, worth their
Salt.
weight in balls.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Heavy balls. Okay, but so they stayed there, right? And then this is verse 8 of chapter 1. It says, "Now there arose a new king over Egypt who did not know Joseph. And he said to his people, 'Behold, the people of Israel are too many and too mighty for us,'" which has happened in the past,
Yeah,
right? Think about
when
Jacob and Laban. Think about Abraham and Abimelech. These people are just like, they're too powerful. They're like, there's too much together. We need to split off, right? But in this case, Pharaoh doesn't say, "Let's split. Could you just get out of here?" He's like, "Let's enslave these
let's
folks.
do a little genocide.
Yeah, let's do that." Well, yeah, is that genocide to enslave?
It becomes genocide.
I guess it is genocide.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if it's a genocide. It's not really genocide.
Yeah,
Kind of a thing.
We'll just keep reading
side point.
and see if there's any hypocrisy.
So, anyways, that basically it was like, there's too many of them. We got to make them into slaves now, and also they're telling the midwives,
Kill the men, kill boys.
kill the baby boys.
First time in
too.
history that's ever been said.
Yeah, exactly.
Kill the boys?
Well, that's because why would you do that? He's like, well, that's because those are the important ones. So we can't have you
Exactly.
having more important kids like
Yeah.
the girls. Who cares?
The one time misogyny doesn't work in men's favor.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, frequently,
It's
going
hard
to
to
war
be
and
a man,
stuff. It's
okay?
so hard.
I'm just, to all of our lady listeners.
Yeah,
All four
we
of
do
you.
have like, I gotta send that chick.
We gotta do
Yeah,
that.
fuck.
We gotta do that shirt.
We're gonna send a shirt to the commenter lady. We're just working on it. We're lazy,
We know-
and
yeah.
we're
But
gonna figure it out.
But it's happening.
But yeah, so the Pharaoh, so they forgot all the good stuff that Joseph did for them and the world, and so now they're too successful, so they got to kick them out, or not kick them out,
Not
but
kick them out.
enslave
Use them as slaves.
use them as slaves, and kill their
Kill their boys.
boys.
Yeah.
So he tells the midwives this, but the midwives, they know that Jewish people are coveted by God or whatever. And so...
Well, also, it's so weird. It says the king of Egypt said to the Hebrew midwives. It's like, what? These are the Hebrew midwives.
Yeah.
Why would they kill their own kid? Like, that's such a
they're
weird...
biased.
Like, such a weird out of
He
touch.
needs unbiased midwives.
Yeah, exactly.
He needs Fox News midwives.
He needs the spin stops here midwives.
Yeah,
he needs
Bill
some
O'Reilly
Bill O'Reilly
midwives.
midwives. He goes, listen, I'm going to kill some of them. I'm going to not kill other ones, okay?
Yeah.
But some of them I'm going to kill. So it's kind of weirdly out of touch for him to be like, hey, could you like kill your own people? And they're
Yeah.
like, yes, boss. It's like, why would we do that?
But luckily, they come up with a fun lie that they tell the Pharaoh of why they can't kill can't kill the children, and it's because the Hebrews' wives, their vaginas are so big they just drop right out.
Yeah, they're powerful. They just boom. They just
push them right out.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's because they're so used to pushing out massive poops, and so it's these Jews with their bad thing.
I forgot that Hebrews have cloacas.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's all one hole.
Yeah, 100%. So they just push it out, and that's kind of what happens there.
So they tell him like the children come out too fast for us to get to them and kill them. Which, I mean, if he buys that, I don't know what he's doing. But
yeah,
because you could still kill the babies after they've come out.
Well, that's what it says. Pharaoh then commanded all of his people, every son that is born to the Hebrews you shall cast into the Nile, but you shall let every daughter live.
Mm-hmm. Because only men are the threats, because the fear is that they will join a foreign army and then revolt against the Egyptians.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And only men can do that.
Right.
So they're like, no. And then a very special Hebrew is born, and that is, what's this guy's name again?
Moses.
Moses. Yeah.
Oh, also, just as a quick aside, the midwives with this lie and stuff, because people are like, oh, when lying's bad, you should never lie. Like on the more Christian side, people are like, you should never lie.
Right.
And it's like, okay, some lies are good. In verse 20, it says, so God dealt well with the midwives, and the people multiplied and grew very strong. So it's like, okay, they were lying. They were deceiving for ultimately a better purpose. You know, they were lying against a sinful...
The note is like it doesn't specify that they lied.
Oh, that they were being deceptive or whatever.
Sure, yeah.
These like loophole type word, but like that idea of like deception and things like that. You could deceive for a virtuous reason, perhaps, like saving Jews in the Holocaust or something like that.
Also, it mentions Shipra and Pua, who are these Hebrew midwives. They only have two midwives for 2 million people?
No, I'm sure those are just the two that were involved.
But I mean, then
Moses.
It's a legitimate excuse. They might have been really trying to kill those kids, but they just couldn't get to them in
2
time.
million. They're like, I mean, you gave us a lot of territory here.
Yeah.
I mean, we need to hire more people. We're understaffed.
Yeah, if you give us more
we're
people,
overworked.
Yeah, they're like...
Yeah, we're not getting paid the right amount. Anyways.
Essential workers.
Yeah, seriously.
So Moses is born. Number 2, the birth of Moses. He's born in the house of Levi. Levi was one of the brothers who killed the entire village of people after the circumcision and the defiling of Dinah. Mm-hmm. And so he's got warrior blood.
Warrior blood.
And guess what? He uses it, but that's a little bit later.
Right. So he's born. And then basically he's hidden for a few months. And then when they could no longer hide the baby, because they're trying not to kill him, not have him cast from the Nile, ironically, and this is like sort of a weird loophole type thing again, she does cast him into the Nile.
But she puts him in
a basket.
She puts him in an inner tube.
I bet all these other
lazy rivers your baby down the Nile.
I bet all these other wives were like, we could just put him in a basket. I just drowned him. Oh, I'm so stupid. I should have just put him in a basket. But this is where you could
get to it. It's like it's more ethical to just kill the baby than like potentially send him down the river to starve to death.
Sure, who knows? Yeah, who knows what happens there?
Yeah.
100%. But I think it's done in faith that this baby will be. And where does the basket go to? But towards Pharaoh's daughter.
How convenient.
Only the most powerful person of all time.
The daughter?
Well, Pharaoh related to them. Pharaoh's daughter, probably pretty hot. Of all the women to be probably hot to be. Of all the women to bump into, yeah, it's her.
Pretty convenient.
So pretty convenient. Pharaoh's daughter sees the baby, is like, oh my gosh, this baby is adorable.
Cute baby.
So cute. Moses' older sister was like tracking the basket the entire time, right? Mm-hmm. Sees that Pharaoh's daughter sees Moses and goes, oh my gosh, do you like want like a midwife to help raise that baby? Because you don't want to nurse the baby. Mm-hmm. You don't want that. You want someone to do that for you, right? And she goes, that would be awesome. Could you get a Hebrew midwife to do that? Moses' sister just brings Moses back to his mom.
Yeah.
And then his mom basically nurses him.
So convenient
up to an age.
His mom probably ready to nurse.
Probably ready to nurse because she just had him.
Baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be crazy if she didn't actually want him and she was like, oh, what?
Damn it.
He's back here. Oh, the one time.
Yeah, great time to not want a kid.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
When everybody's like, you got to kill your kid.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Yeah, I know.
That's what the liberals want.
I know.
They want to reinstitute this.
Yeah, 100%.
What is it? You almost said it again.
I almost said it again. I said it 2 seconds ago.
Good, it interrupted me from that stupid joke.
Okay, good.
Okay, so yeah, and then he grows up and he's like raised basically as like a son of the Pharaoh.
Yeah, he's in Pharaoh's house.
Yeah,
super powerful. Back where Joseph kind of was.
He doesn't even know that he's. Does he know that he's Hebrew?
Yes, he doesn't know that he's Hebrew.
How?
Well, I'd imagine he's circumcised first off. Because
they circumcised the baby, even though they're going to kill him. That's brutal.
Well, they weren't killing him.
I know, but
he was raised for 3 months. Also, to say you're in the house, I'd imagine he's circumcised. Also, Pharaoh's daughter says, "Oh, this is a Hebrew."
Right, but they put him in the river, like to cut a guy the tip of your dick off and then put you in the river. That's
but that's
brutal.
to be saved. That's to be, well, actually, it's not to be saved. It's to be set apart. I don't know. I don't actually know. But also, wait, maybe later Moses has to do it. I forget. Scratch that. Maybe he's not circumcised.
Okay,
but Pharaoh's daughter acknowledges that he's a Hebrew because no Egyptian is putting their kid in the thing, and so I think he's raised understanding that he is a Hebrew, which is what drives him to do what he does.
Which is he sees
when he's older, when he's an adult grown.
Yeah, when he's like 36. He sees, exactly, he sees an Egyptian beating up a Hebrew, and so he kills the Egyptian and then buries him in sand like a cat does turds.
Yeah. So he kills him. And
then he just kind of kicks a little sand behind him.
That's why he got found. He just used his feet to bury it. Not enough. That's a whole body you got to get under there.
And so he thinks he gets away with it, and then he sees another two Hebrews arguing on the street. And he goes, "You guys stop that." And they go, "Oh, what are you going to do? Kill us like you did the last guy?" He's like, "Fuck, you guys know about that?"
"Oh, no, you know that I killed that guy. Oh, shit. That's so bad."
So he gets scared, and he goes to Midian.
He runs away. He flees the land. He was grown up. He was raised in Pharaoh's house as an Egyptian, but obviously he still has these Hebrew ties, and kills the guy. Thinks he did like a solid.
Yeah, by killing a guy.
Hebrews. He's like, "Yeah, kill that dude. Good on me.
Yeah,
I saved you guys." And it just shows us like, "Oh, what are you going to kill us to?" So they clearly didn't necessarily have an allegiance to Moses. They probably saw him as other.
Yeah.
But then he saw himself as other from Pharaoh's house because he's a Hebrew. So he's kind of a man with no land here.
Sure.
A little bit. He's sort of just like aimless. He's like, "Well, I don't feel like I'm part of Pharaoh's house, and the Hebrews kind of hate me."
Moses was too black for the white kids, too white for the black kids.
Yeah, exactly. He's
mixed race.
Mixed race, 100%.
You're really bad about it.
I just need to push through. I think I've probably said it way more in other episodes, but I didn't acknowledge it. So I just kind of...
Maybe.
This is bad.
This is what I did with the thing, though. I said it. I think I said it more.
Yeah, probably.
Because I was thinking about it more.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't beat yourself up.
Thanks. Thanks. I'll do it off
Idiot.
camera. Ouch. So he goes to Midian. He runs away because he realizes, kind of both sides don't trust me. And once the Pharaoh's house and the Egyptians figure out that I killed an Egyptian, they're not going to be stoked about that. So I got to get the hell out of here because he incurs Pharaoh's wrath. So he runs away to Midian. That's exact. He also, as is the wont of these Hebrew people, he runs across a woman shepherdess. And
they love shepherdesses.
They love shepherdesses. They love running across these people at wells, and basically run to this woman. And then there's a bunch of other shepherds in the area that try to like take over the well when these women are there. And then Moses comes in there and like fights them off, and then waters this flock of these women's.
Is it really hard to water a flock?
It's a lot of water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not easy.
Okay. So it's like a big deal that he would do this. It's a big deal that he would not only defend them, but then also do all their work for them.
Right.
Okay.
Right. The shepherds came. I mean, we could just read this. Now the priest of Midian had 7 daughters, and they came and drew water and filled the troughs to water their father's flock. The shepherds came and drove them away. So basically, they had already drawn the water. And then other shepherds came and were like, "Well, kind of all the work's done. They just drew it all. So I'm just going to get in here." And then Moses is like, "What the hell is that?" And then he gets in, breaks it up, lets them use that. And when they came home to their father, rule. He said, how is it that you have come home so soon today? They said, an Egyptian. So Moses is dressed like an Egyptian still, because that's the culture he grew up in.
Yeah.
An Egyptian delivered us out of the hand of the shepherds, and he even drew water for us and watered the flock faster than 7 women. I'm not saying that God is, okay? And water the flock. He said to his daughters, then where is he? Where's this guy?
Yeah.
Where's the Egyptian? Why have you left the man? Call him that he may eat bread. And Moses was content to dwell with the man, and he gave Moses his daughter Zipporah. She gave birth to a son, and he called his name Gershom, for he said, I have been a sojourner in a foreign land. So now Moses is kind of just in with these other folks.
Sure.
He watered their flock. He's married the daughter of the priest of the land. He's got a kid there. I mean, it's so funny. It's like 4 sentences, and it's like, yeah, lots going on.
Entire lifestyle change.
Which also, if anything, shows me about patience. I'm thinking every
Yeah,
day. I'm
big
like, every
things-
day something better happen, and
Big
it's like,
things can
dude,
just be encapsulated in one sentence.
yeah, things are going.
I did
you know?
comedy for 10 years. I failed. lot
No,
lot in there.
The special isn't even in there. You don't even talk about how you filmed it. It's like, it doesn't even matter. Yeah. Oh,
okay,
jeez.
and
I
then the
lived in
big-
New York. I left.
I left early.
Early. Oh,
What did you
jeez.
experience there? Stuff.
Yeah, things happened and he left.
So then we get to the big thing, and this is the famous one of Moses. Moses is a famous guy, but this is the first famous thing, I think, which is the burning bush, which is not a euphemism for some type of STI. It's
Hey, oh, God. Hey, ow, hot. Put some water.
It's God comes down in a bush that is lit on fire but is not burning, and talks to him, which sounds like he's smoking a little reefer, deefy.
Have you heard about that?
Yeah, there's some people that think that.
Acacia bush?
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's acacia. It's like got a DMT in it.
I don't know if it's DMT. It's some sort of hallucination. Yeah, maybe it's DMT.
like
just the idea that the acacia bush
Ergot, whatever.
can be burned but not consumed. And then there's probably smoke coming off of that, right? So then Moses gets in there, breathes the air, and is like, yo, and has a trip.
Yeah.
And experiences God through this trip.
Would you accept that?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, why not? God could use that. Well, before this, so while he's gone, before the burning bush thing happens, Moses is gone, and it says here, during those many days, the king of Egypt died, the king that Moses was scared of because he killed that Egyptian. So that king dies, and the people of Israel groaned because of their slavery and cried out for help. Their cry for rescue for slavery came up to God, and God heard their groaning, and God remembered his covenant with Abraham, with Isaac, and with Jacob. God saw the people of Israel, and God knew. So now God's like, all right, Moses is gone. The Pharaoh's gone. The people are upset. I'm going to do something. Where am I going to do it? And then he shows up at this burning bush. And so it's like, okay, well, you're not even in the land of the people. You're just going to get this guy that left. You know, it seems indirect at the very least.
Yeah.
Rather than just like freeing by some miracle or whatever. He goes and gets Moses through this burning bush. And do you want to go over
Why
what
do
he
you
says?
think that is? Do you think people need like a figurehead?
I mean, I think people do need a figurehead. I think that he was a leader. I mean, when you talk about who Moses was, he was perfectly curated to be this person. He knows Egypt. He was born in Egypt's in Pharaoh's house. He's got some clout on him. Mm-hmm. He'll be listened to. He's not just like one of the random slave people.
He's a murderer.
He's done some bad things. He's gone, but he does have this clout. So it's kind of an interesting thing. He's perfect in that sense, but then also, as we can see,
in the clout sense or in the murder sense, or that's
Clout.
part of the clout.
I don't think it's part of the clout. If anything, it's. I mean, again, it had been 40 years that he was gone before he goes back, and so I don't think I don't know if a lot of Hebrews would remember him as like the guy who killed the. You know,
That's the only thing I would remember about someone if that's what I knew about.
but it's also been 40 years. I don't know. Like I'm 25, he leaves, and I'm 65, and I'm like, oh, what the hell? That dude's back.
Yeah, but people would be like, "Hey, Moses is back." The first thing you'd be like, "The guy who killed that guy."
Yeah, there's also
That
just
sticks in your mind.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But also, like anyone 50 and under probably doesn't remember the dude. Also, there's 600,000 of them, men. There's millions. You're just going to remember one dude named Moses?
If he killed someone, yeah.
What? I don't know. There's probably so much other murder going on.
Dude, if you'd ever met anybody who was like, I killed the guy, you'd never forget that guy.
Right, but I wouldn't expect 3 million people to have heard of him.
Oh, you're saying that he wasn't that popular for the murder, but he was that popular for being a Pharaoh's.
Yes.
Don't you think
probably.
that? I think those two would work together.
Yeah, I guess this would.
Yeah.
I guess this would. Yeah, I guess he'd be known for that. So he shows back up. Well, okay, well, let's go what God says to him first.
I don't understand
From
what
the
God says to him. God is like, this might be a good time to just read it.
Mm-hmm.
God says to him, ooh,
scary bush. He doesn't say that.
That's what he says, right?
Oh.
And this is the word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God.
God called to him out of the bush, Moses, Moses. And he said, here I am. Then he said, do not come near. Take your sandals off your feet. For the place on which you are standing is holy ground. Ooh, maybe God's Japanese.
Yeah, could be.
And he said, I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. And Moses hid his face, for he was afraid to look at God. I like this. I'm the God. This is like a theme, right? Is like, I'm the God of your father. I'm the God of Abraham. I'm the God of Isaac. It's kind of like their password, you know?
Yeah, it's like 2FA.
Family it's their 2FA.
You said God of Abraham, God of Jacob, and they're like, and
he's like, oh shit.
No, you're not the one.
Then the Lord said, I have surely seen the affliction of my people who are in Egypt, and have heard their cry because of their taskmasters, slave masters. I know their suffering, and I have come down to deliver them out of the hand of the Egyptians, and to bring them up out of that land to a good and broad land, a land flowing with milk and honey. Oh, to the place of the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Amorites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites. And now behold, the cry of the people of Israel has come to me, and I have also seen the oppression with which the Egyptians oppress them. Come, and I will send you to Pharaoh, that you may bring my people, the children of Israel, out of Egypt. Call to action, baby.
Yeah, do this.
Do this.
Go do this.
And then Moses, like everybody, he's got a little imposter syndrome. He goes, but who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and bring the children out of Israel and Egypt? And he said, but I will be with you, and this shall be the sign for you that I have sent you. When you have brought the people out of Egypt, you shall serve God on this mountain. I don't know if I should just keep reading the whole fucking thing.
It's so crazy that God tells Moses to go do something, and then Moses is like, I can't do that.
Who am I?
It's like
you're the guy I'm talking to.
Right, but God, it's like the fact that I'm telling you to do it means that you can do it because I will be with you. Imagine how patient the Lord is in that. It's like, go do this. And then someone's like, I can't. It's like, but I'm going to make you able to do it.
Yeah, but I don't know. I gotta watch Severance. And so he's like, basically like, well, what am I going to tell people who sent me? How am I going to? And God says to Moses, I am who I am. And he said, say this to the people of Israel. I am has sent me to you. I got to admit, if I was a people of Israel and a guy who murdered a dude 40 years ago came and like, guys, I'm getting you out of here. Someone told me, and they were like, who told you? And he was like, I am. I'd be like, this guy went fucking crazy. I don't know who this guy is.
But he also would say the God of our fathers.
Yeah, okay.
The God of our father, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. And so I think when he says, who should I say sent me? I don't know if I am is necessarily, I don't know if he's pitching that to the Israelites. I thought
that's what he's saying. He's saying, I am has sent me to you. That's what he's saying. Say this to the people of Israel.
Shall I say to them?
I am has sent me to you. Yahweh.
Say this to the people of Israel. Oh yeah, right. The Lord of your fathers, says people of Israel, the Lord of your fathers, God of Abraham, God of Isaac, God of Jacob, has sent me to you. This is my name forever, and thus I am to be remembered throughout all generations. Go and gather the elders of Israel together and say to them, the Lord, the God of your fathers. So again, it's not like he's saying just say I am and be like cryptic about it. He's saying like the God that you have been praying to, the God of your fathers, has sent me. I am is like such a powerful phrase. I feel like we need to dive into like the Hebrew and like the etymology of that more.
It's Yahweh.
But Yahweh. And I do think like
Jehovah.
Saying I am is like, that's just like existence. It's like the most fundamental way I feel like the Lord has described himself. Like say I am, say existence has sent you.
I am who I am.
Right.
That's basically, it is what it is, though.
In a sense, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but that is saying like he is so fundamental to existence.
Yeah.
He's saying I am has sent you. Existence has sent you. It really ties God deeply into the foundation of all creation. Like he is what has created everything.
Yeah.
Because nothing can come out of him that is not from him.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and then he says, go do this. And then Moses, well, I guess that's his complaints are in the next chapter. Moses' complaints are in the next chapter. But in this chapter, because God says, so I will stretch out my hand and strike Egypt with all the wonders that I will do in it. After that, he will let you go. And I will give the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians. And when you go, you shall not go empty, but each woman shall ask of her neighbor and any woman who lives in her house for silver and gold jewelry and for clothing. You shall put them on your sons and on your daughters, so you shall plunder the Egyptians. So he's like, hey, go in there against the most powerful nation in the world. Say, hey, let your slaves go. You're probably one of your most powerful workforces. Let your slaves go. And by the way, you're going to like rob them on the way out. This is going to be a deal for you guys. You're not just going to leave with what you got. You're going to get a ton of stuff from them and leave. They're basically going to pay you to leave. That's what he's saying, which is pretty unreal because you're just a dude who left 40 years ago and was probably like, well, that's my past life that's behind me. And now you're like, no, go back in there, save 2 million people, and you're all going to get paid. And it's like, it seems unlikely.
Yeah, it does.
It's a crazy tall order.
And you shall plunder the Egyptians.
Yeah.
He's basically, God's like, I'm going to fuck them up so bad, they're going to be like, take this stuff and get out of here.
Yeah.
Pay you to leave.
Right. It's crazy.
What a model.
And it does show... And God is saying, I will allow this to happen. God's not sending Moses into this thing and being like, hey, God, Moses, could you go free them? I don't know how you're going to do it, but could you just figure it out? God calls us to do things that he will prepare us to do, that he will enable us to do. He doesn't call us into a life for us to fail, which it sounds weird, prosperity gospel-y sort of thing. But it's like trusting not in our own capacity to do it, but that the Lord will give us the ability. If he's called us to do it, it's not for no reason, whatever it may be. Maybe success looks different than what we understand it to be, but when he calls us to do something, he will prepare us and equip us to do that thing, as is evidence with Moses here.
Allegedly.
Well, yeah, we'll get into 4, and then we'll see Moses' complaints with all of this.
Yeah,
because again, like God tells you to do all that stuff, and you're like, okay, I don't really
need some reassurance.
I don't really know.
It's a big ask.
Sure. And Moses is being honest.
Plus, while you got God on the horn, you might as well talk to him.
Sure. Got him on the. Whoa, he calls me. God, you don't call super often, so I gotta really.
In fact, I'd like to hear from you more.
Yeah, exactly.
It'd be nice.
It's been 40 years.
Well, it's been 300 years.
Well,
since Joseph.
Well, sure.
Last
also,
guy talking to him.
What's interesting is he's in the house of the priest of this other land.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that worship would have looked like in that other land. I don't know if he left I don't know if he's left the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, if he's worshiping under this new
He's got to like sneak off to the side to pray to his real God.
Maybe I don't know.
Fun.
Or he hasn't prayed to him at all. And then he's walking, and then just God comes to him in this burning bush and says, hey, I know your father-in-law or whatever is the priest of this other God. Forget that. I am the true God. The God.
The Median guy.
Yeah, the Median guy.
Okay.
Yeah, and then he claims him back, and he says, "No, this." I haven't really thought about that too much. Whether that's a different God that they're praying to, could be. I don't know.
It doesn't really say what they are.
Doesn't really say, but he says the priest. He married the daughter of the priest. Their religious home, not the same God, I'd imagine. And now the God of Israel calls him back and says, "Now go save your folks." And in a pluralistic society with a lot of different gods, I don't know if I'm sure his father-in-law was like, yeah, it's a different God. Cool. Go save your, whatever.
Yeah. Do whatever that God tells you.
Yeah. Because that's your God.
More Baha'i.
Baha'i-ish. Yeah. Well, pluralistic. Yeah. But also at the same time.
Yeah.
I think Baha'i is more of like a linear progression of the God, of what God is. And I think this is more like, well, our God's for this, your God's for that. And that's also why I think this phrase "I am" is really going to be powerful, not just to Israel, but to the Egyptians, because they have like so many gods for each thing.
Right.
And then when you say, well, my God is I am, There is one God. My God is existent. It's like saying my God is fundamental beneath all of your gods, or above, I should say, above all of your gods. So it's not just, and as we can get into with the plagues and stuff, you see like kind of the answer to that.
Yeah, the pluralistic stuff is interesting. It's like in that book that I only read 2 chapters of.
What book is that?
The History of God.
Oh yeah.
She talks about how like they had all these pluralistic gods, and there was just kind of like a non-discussed understanding that there was a God above all that. I don't know, and I got to read the book more, but it's interesting. Like everybody had a different God for a different use and for a different thing, like fertility, this and that. But there was like this kind of unspoken understanding that like there was a God above all that those gods like came from, that invented them.
These are the known gods that we pray to about certain things.
Sure.
But the God above that is unknowable.
Yeah.
Whereas and then this basically is that God saying, hey, I'm the God of those gods, and I'm telling you to let these people go.
Right.
Which is just crazy, because they're like, well, that God's so high up, he's not going to interface with us at all. And then he does.
I think that was kind of the mentality. It's like, it's just like, it's basically like, don't even worry about that guy.
Yeah.
It's like if I was like the janitor and then I wanted to talk to the CEO. People are like, you don't need to, just talk to your manager.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so, which is why it's crazy. It's like, well, this is the CEO now talking on behalf of these people. It's crazy that his amount of involvement and his amount of love from such a high order coming down. It's humbling, really, when you think about it. And then obviously when it comes to the person of Jesus being the CEO, becoming us.
Dude, Jesus was undercover boss.
Yeah, in a sense. Yeah. Jesus was like, Jesus raises from the dead. I'm the boss, actually. And everyone's like, what?
What?
Well, also what's funny is he comes in.
Oh no, I took so many smoke breaks in front of that guy.
Oh my gosh. Also, what's so funny is he comes in saying I'm the boss. And everyone's like, you're not the boss.
Shut up.
Kill this guy.
That's such an undercover boss.
And then they just kill the boss. And then he comes back and they're like, I killed the boss. Oh no. Not only did
I'm going to get fired for
not
this,
only was I
for
not
the
doing
rest
my
of
job.
eternity.
Yeah, exactly.
Fired.
I'm going to get fired. Pretty good.
This has been another installment
Another episode of Call Him Father. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you
for listening. Jeez. You missed.